No, that just doesn't compute in my brain at all. Because what doesn't get measured doesn't get managed. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking through my financial goals for this year and how I'm stacking up against them. We only have 2 months left, so we're going to dive into that. But also I'll be going through my spending for the year and also creating my November budget. So let's get into it. So earlier this year, I posted a video where I was talking through my financial goals for this year. I had 3 financial goals for this year. First being to have a $2,500 budget and sticking to that. The second being reconciling my transactions every month, so making sure that I stayed within the budget. And then the third being that I wanted to invest $99,000 this year. Now let's see how I stacked up against those. $2,500 budget? No. Reconcile transactions? No. Invest $99,000? I'm not gonna do that, and it's okay, because this year was really meant to be a year of just to see how much do I actually spend, because what doesn't get measured doesn't get managed. My goal for this year is to see how much do I actually spend, because I would love to retire early, but in order to retire early, I need to know how much I'm spending so that I know how much I need to save. And if I know how much I need to save, then I can adjust, maybe I need to get a higher paying job, or maybe I just need to spend less, or whatever it might be. So that's the overarching goal for this year, is really just to see how much am I spending. So it's okay that I failed at all of these, especially the $99,000. That was an ambitious goal. Even in that video, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get past 50. Here we are, it's November, and I'm probably not gonna get past 50. But 50 is still a great amount to invest. I'm here to say that I did not meet any of my goals, and that's okay. So anyways, for this video, I have no intentions, it's not me bragging. I just truly enjoy watching videos like this. And so I think that it's so dumb that money is so taboo. I think we should talk about money more and not really feel jealous or anything about it. Because I think, I was at Polly's Island with my family, and the house we stayed in was and I was like, how much money does this family make to own a house like this? And so it would be great to talk to them and learn oh, they make $700,000 a year. That's why they can afford a house. The mortgage on the house would have been $14,000, which is insane. And so, I just think we should talk about money more. If you see people going on trips or people buying a Lamborghini, if we talked about money more, you might know, okay, they make $400,000 so they can afford that. But yeah, my intention is truly not to be bragging or anything. I might be very lighthearted about this. I think money is meant to be stewarded. I think God gave us the opportunity to steward money. And so I think in general, I steward it well. I think on the fringes, there's opportunity for sure. But overall, I think I manage it well. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Be like, Mariah, my food. I mean, y'all see how much I spend on Cane's, so. But we'll get into that. To recap, my goal for this year is to see how much do I actually spend so that I know how much to save and invest for retirement. Just start running more accurate scenarios. Of course, you can't predict things, especially, you can't predict anything, but especially 30, 40, 50 years down the line, it's all this could be just hubbub, mush, whatever. But I think having a plan is a fruitful thing. It's a beneficial thing. And so let's get into my numbers over the course of the year, because I did not post budget videos for June, July, August, September, October. Anyways, also my May budget video is coming. You don't have to watch it, but I just have put too much energy into filming it. I filmed it in May and also started editing it in May and edited it a little bit also in July, but I just haven't finished, and I'm too deep into it to not post. So I'm gonna post it. It's gonna be 6 months late, but that's okay. So if you wanna see a more specific breakdown of how I do it, you can check out that video. But anyways, let's get into my month over month. So I have this little template that I've created. Basically, I looked at other people's Etsy templates and then decided what pages I liked, and then I built it myself. Because I was like, I don't wanna pay $40 for a template where there's certain things. I think with any template, especially budget templates specifically, there will be things that I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. I do like this. I want more flexibility with this. And so for me, being someone who's a data person, like I enjoy Excel and Google Sheets. So for me, it's not like crazy hard to like create something like this. There's definitely lots of room for improvement, but this is just something that I've made based off seeing what other people have done and what I want to do for my own finances and how to display that specifically. That being said, I might do, there's two that I'm debating between besides just doing my own. One is Money with Katie's wealth planner. That is something I'm really heavily considering. Also considering Girl on Fire's like budget planner. We'll see. I probably will end up doing Money with Katie and trying to see if I like it or if I feel too constrained. And then maybe 2025 I'll do Girl on Fire. But also doing your own thing is great because then you can just customize everything. But anyways, let's get into the actual month over month spending and the spending over the last 10 months of the year. Here is just spending. So the thing, I guess I should say, is that tithe ministry, I didn't include that because what I currently give now is based off my current income, which is not what I'm planning to have in retirement. And so it doesn't make sense to have those line items in here. In retirement, I plan to tithe probably 10% still, and then also support friends and family that might be in ministry. I won't be contributing to my IRA because I'll be in retirement. And so it would just, you just still need to contribute, you know? That's why those three lines are blank. And those three lines are blank across all of, like even like the month over month, which we'll talk about November. I think actually in my November budget, I actually did budget like a tithe, which is reflective of like the $2,500 that I plan to, well, I used to plan. I thought at the beginning of the year, I really thought I could live off $2,500 a month, but these numbers say something otherwise. The biggest thing is these two numbers down here. Total this year, I spent $72,000. That is insane. That just doesn't compute in my brain at all. Like, I don't even drive a Tesla. Like what single person is spending $72,000 in a low income city or low cost of living city? There are no words. There are no words, actually. But the thing is that a lot of that was spent on travel. And so I actually just had a meeting with my financial advisor and we did two scenarios, one where I don't account for travel and one where I do. And so that was really helpful because I think hopefully in retirement I might have some passive income or some other part-time income that could cover my travel. And so I wouldn't really be planning for travel with that. My retirement money would be for expenses, like living expenses. And so anything above and beyond the luxuries of life would come out of some part-time income or some other income. So I've spent $72,081.42 so far this year. And I actually just bought lunch. So that's another like $14. It's not funny. I'm not laughing. This is an absurd amount of money for one person. It's just, I'm just like bewildered. Actually, yeah, I don't know. Nothing looks off. Everything looks accurate. So that's the sad part. I think I coded everything accurately. But without travel, it's about $40,000 so far. And again, today's October 31st. So 10 months, it's about $4,000 a month, which is a little bit more reasonable, but still $4,000 a month when my rent is $675. Like, what am I spending money on? I don't know. So anyways, so with my financial advisor, we ran scenarios where I spend, I think we said $50,000 for living expenses and then $30,000 for travel, which I think travel probably will be like $25,000 a year for a variety of reasons, but we'll get into one of the reasons. One of the reasons why my travel budget was so high this year was because I spent money. I went on a group trip with a bunch of friends. It was a lot of fun. I don't regret any of it. I subsidized the trip. And so that was a large chunk of change spent I just covered all of the housing, I covered all the rental cars, and I covered all of the lift tickets. We went on a ski and snowboarding trip in Colorado. And so because I covered all of that, everyone else's expenses were low, which is, I wanted to like lower the barrier to entry to skiing and snowboarding because it is just so expensive. but also I just love it so much and wanted to go with friends and we'll have a group trip. And it was a lot of fun. And I am trying to see, can I do that every year? Or can I do that every other year? I don't know. That was, you know, $18,000. But this also number includes, I've already booked stuff for the next year's trip. And so that includes, this is 2 years worth of trip money. And some of that will also be like reimbursed because I booked 2 Airbnbs or 2 VBROs where we're only gonna use one, but I didn't know how big the group would be for 2024. So anyways, that's a large chunk of change. And then this one also, travel, flights, stay. This is, I mean, almost all my travel this year has been for snowboarding. So that's just, snowboarding is just expensive if you do not live near the mountains, which makes sense. So those I think were my 2 highest so far for the year. And then we have restaurant, food, rent. Moving out was just so expensive. Like I just spent so much money on this room that I'm moving out of in 4 months. 3 months. Because my friend is getting married. So she wasn't dating a boy when I moved in, and then she started dating this guy, and then they got engaged, and now they're getting married. So me over here thought I would live here for like 2 or 3 years. No, I'm not even living here for a year. So it's a whole thing. But moving out, I just spent, like if I have been living here for 2 or 3 years and $4,500, that's okay by me. But because it's like less than a year, it's not good. That is not good, but it's okay. You know, life goes on. So those are the highest things. And then this is like just the average over the month. So on average, I spend about $450 on restaurants in Cincinnati and about $220 on groceries. So about $600, $700. So it's just quite a lot. My rent is $675. So this is helpful to see over the course of the year, where's all the money going towards. $30,000 on travel. And I might travel again this year. I would love to go to opening day at Brighton or Snowbird, but that'll be another like $1,500 probably. So we'll see. In the grand scheme of 30,000, that's nothing, but also you can't keep doing that. But also I love it and life is short. So the reason I'm not batting so much of an eye or like really stressed out about some of these numbers is because I do tie 10% to my church, and then I give another like 4 to 8% to friends and people in ministry. And so that's about like almost 15-ish, about 15% that I give every month to various organizations and people and whatnot. And then I also am maxing out my retirement accounts. And so for the 99,000 goal, like part of that $30,000 was for maxing out my 401k and maxing out my IRA. So 401k max limit for this year is $22,500. IRA is $6,500, which ends up being about $29,000. Plus I put away at least $1,000 a month towards a brokerage on top of all of that. So I am investing, what percentage is that? Well, I guess tithe, I tithe more than 10% actually. But I invest, I think even on my November thing, which we can switch to November now. My savings rate is 23%. I think this is probably the lowest for the year. Actually, I know it's one of the lowest for the year. I think in some of these other months, it was like 50%. Yeah, 66% in March, 64%. So not getting into those numbers too much, but 23% is a little bit low. So 23% being saved or invested for the future, plus another 15-ish% for tithing and Jesus related things. So that's like 38% at least for the low. And so about 40% of my income is going towards retirement or Jesus. So that's why I feel okay in my spending, is because I'm giving almost half to, in some months it was more than half, to the future or for Jesus. Let's go through this sheet really quick. Like I said, I'm a part-time admin for my church. So that's about $500 a month minus taxes and whatnot. Just looking at this here, yeah, my net worth is about $300,000, which I think is good. Definitely could be better. And then these columns are for if I if I was gonna spend $30,000 a year or about $2,500 a month. This is like how much more would I need to save in order to retire at 55, how much would I need to save to retire at 40, and how much would I need to save to retire at 35. So $40,000 is a lot, but also this number is just changing. The FIRE needs to be, and FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. So it's the idea that once you have enough money, your money invested makes enough money that you can live off of it. So this number will actually be probably $50,000 next year. And then all these numbers will change. Currently my goal is to like semi-retire at age 40. And so this is like really the number that I'm most focused on. And then let's go through my November budgets. So tithe would be $250, ministry support would be $150, and then IRA will be empty because that's retirement. So this is also still going off of the $2,500 budget. And so we'll see at the end how much I actually planned for, but it should be, yeah, you can see this is a total of 400 there, and then remaining is 2,100. And then financial advisor, so I have a financial advisor like I just said, and they started charging quarterly, so I won't actually be paying for anything in November and December, so that stays at zero. Robinhood, if you've watched these videos, you know every month I say I'm going to cancel this. It's investment money, it's just a little bit, it's $5 a week every Wednesday. Actually, did I cancel? I feel like I haven't seen those emails recently. Hello?
Hello? She's trying to plan her future out. She's trying to be FIRE.
I just talked about FIRE.
FIRE with a sink, not a sink. Sink!
Sink, yeah. One thing I was reminded of is that there's someone on Instagram who the handle is She Wolf of Wall Street, and she does budget breakdowns for different people, for real people, but they're different size budgets. So there's one for like someone with $600,000 and one for someone with $80,000 or $30,000. And they share their budget, and then she gives recommendations for what you should do, what the person should do. And so those are really helpful to learn if you're interested in budgeting, just seeing what she recommends and going through some of those videos. I really like those videos personally. I just think it's fun to look at like, and also like one of the ones that was like $600,000, they were like living paycheck to paycheck because they were like somehow spending like $30,000 a month on food, which like maybe that shouldn't be so crazy to me because like I spend so much on food. But like, it's just interesting how someone can be making a huge income, but then living paycheck to paycheck. Or someone could be like making $60,000 or $40,000, but be saving more than the person that's like making 10x what they are, which is very interesting. Anyways, restaurants. For restaurants, we'll put 400 because that's kind of like the average of what I did. Like I said, I might go on a trip. I would love to go to Salt Lake and go to opening day at Brighton or Snowbird. So restaurant travel is not going to be zero. I haven't booked anything because they haven't announced when their opening days are. But when they do, I think 200 for restaurant and then 200 for groceries. That's about my average, a little lower than my average. And then travel groceries if I go on this trip. If I don't go on this trip, I'll be way under this budget, and then I can afford some of the things that I might have to remove. Travel, I looked up the flight prices. I think right now it's $550, but plus stay, plus like a rental car, probably budget like $850. My car, I would love to get my car detailed. And so that would be great. I had butter melt on my back seat over the summer, and like, you know those Panera butter packets? Like, I didn't realize that they're not fully sealed. So they melted in my car and then melted onto the seat. Anyways, that was a mess, but I would love to get my car detailed. Gas, about 100, I think is average. Parking. Parking, I despise paying for parking. I think maybe 60. I do go into the office 3 times a week now. Do I love it? No, I don't. But I started parking. I've most often park in Mount Adams and walk into the city. So the Mount Adams is like the edge of Cincinnati, and walking, it's like a 10-minute walk, but it's free. I'd rather do a 10-minute walk for free parking than pay $6 for the day. That's me, but also spend $600 on food. Okay, gym. I just signed up for Cycle Bar. It's $120 plus I need to cancel my Y membership, so it'll probably be $160 because I think they already charge. Well, I don't think I can cancel before they charge me tomorrow. I think they'll charge me tomorrow. Facials, self-care. I would love to do a massage with my mom. My mom mentioned like 2 weeks ago she would love to do a massage. I don't think she ever did, and I think it would be great if we went together. Entertainment. You know, when I made this budget, I don't know what I meant for it, but we're gonna put 50. I think some months, like I went to a movie with my dad in September, last month, maybe? Early September? It feels like forever ago. I went to a movie with some friends. So entertainment, I think 50. I try to opt for free things. I was just texting a friend earlier today. She was like, oh, we could go to dinner or go for a walk. I was like, let's go for a walk. Okay, office. That was like to get a desk and stuff for this house, which I will not be doing. I work at the kitchen table because I'm moving out. Shopping. I am going to a wedding this weekend in North Carolina, and I don't have a dress, but I need to see if my mom has anything or if I can just like get a shawl over one of my more summery dresses. But in case I can't figure out something, we'll get a dress there for like 100. Gift. I think I'm good on gifts for this. Because I think my parents will get them a gift. And then knitting, I'm not knitting right now. Snowboarding, it won't be hobby snowboarding, it would be travel snowboarding, which would go under travel. YouTube, I think maybe 100. YouTube, I think if I didn't put something, that would be unwise. Other, I think just catch-all 100. Also looking back at like my month over month, we can see what my other was. Average is 600. Whoa, how is my other 6? Bro, what? Oh, because I don't know what this was. What was this? This is February. This might have been group trip, and it might be yeah, I bet you this is group trip because the group trip was in February. I bet you that it's off. Maybe I didn't have group trip yet. Oh, also I should say that in general, I put these in order of priority. And so towards the bottom, well, rent is probably more important, but towards the bottom is stuff that like I added mid-year. Like I didn't start renting until March, so it didn't actually get in January. But in general, this is order of priority, like ministry, support, and tithe are number 1, future, financial stuff, and then food, travel, other stuff, hobbies and whatnot. So that's in general priority for me. That's how I do it. I think that other, I bet you, is the group trip, and I didn't have the group trip category at that point. So I'll need to go back and recode that. Other travel, if I travel, I think having $100 for miscellaneous stuff is good. Goals, I'm gonna say 0 for all of these. Birthday, moving out, and then I will pay rent. Whew, okay, so I am over by 415 if we don't include travel. So I definitely want to get this down. So what do I pull from? If I do end up traveling, I don't need to get my car detailed. I was thinking it'd be great to get it detailed right before Thanksgiving so that I probably won't be driving that much or need my car. So, but if I do travel, I don't need to do that. And then also this self-care, I mean, we can remove that. We can do massages on a month where I'm not traveling. And then, well, we should be, yeah, so we're plus 135 now, which is good. You know, Dave Ramsey would say you need to budget every dollar, 135. Hey, we can just put that in others, which is not recommended. You should figure out. So that 135, maybe, actually, I might just, I would invest it if it's left over. But for the sake of right now, and then this number is negative because this is just the total, how much I'm over by almost 1,300, but that's because of travel. So if I took out travel, it would be net zero. So that's, you know, why I have this budget. How much am I actually spending on living expenses? How much am I spending on travel? How much do I need to save for retirement for both of those categories? Whew. So that's the budget for this month. As transactions come in, this will fill out so I can show you like a different month. You can see here spent this. I went to Colombia in May and also went to visit a friend, do a couple friends, and then I went to Salt Lake City for snowboarding. So this was a 2-trip travel month. I think almost all of the payment, like flights and stuff, was booked in May as well. So that is why travel is so large. Moving out, you know, all the stuff for the room that I'm not living in. Moving out is large, rent is large, and then all the other things. So yeah, as the month progresses, what is this? Travel, yeah, this is what, March. So I went on a trip in March. In the winter, there's just a lot of, like I haven't traveled, I traveled in July. But August, September, October, no travel. November, maybe. December, probably not. But January, February, March, April, when it's winter time, I want to be on the mountain. I want to snowboard. So anyways, so that is where I stand with my financial goals for the year and with my spending for the year and my overall financial goal of like figuring out how much do I need to save and invest. And then also my budget for November. So we're getting back on it. So expect a budget video for December and every month forever. Or just lower your expectations to reality and maybe I'll only do half the year, you know? We don't know, we'll see. And that, just one more thing, if you're new to investing or personal finance or whatever, some resources that I really love is the Money Guys Show. They have a YouTube channel. A lot of the videos are based on a question and they give their response, but basically they have their financial order of operations, which is the PDF that you can download, and they mention it in almost every single video with a link. But they, I think, are like really spot on with really great personal finance advice. I think Dave Ramsey, depending on what situation you might be in, if you have a lot of debt, I think Dave Ramsey is really good person to listen to and to follow. And then like She Wolf of Wall Street, she like will show you how to buy a stock and how to invest and whatnot. And then she does her budget breakdowns as well, which I think are really great. And then Caleb Hammer, you know, I've only seen a couple of his videos, but he is ruthless, but he's a personal finance person as well. But I personally love the Money Guys Show. I think they're really great. I agree with like literally everything that they say. I think that it's really solid advice. But with that, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.